What is the price of a path in the wilderness? For generations, the people of the Salt Village, Iri-ku, lived in the heart of the Mirage Expanse, a beautiful, treacherous desert where landmarks shifted and the sun was a liar. No one ever got lost, because the land itself sang them home. This is the story of the singing stones, the miraculous guardians of Iri-ku, and the terrible, silenced chorus that gave them their voice. For trader, herder, or lost child, the rule was simple. If you hear the hum, follow it. It would lead you to water, to shelter, to safety. The stones were sacred. No one questioned their song. No one, that is, except Anas, a geologist from the city who came to study this acoustic phenomenon. He saw not a miracle, but a fascinating scientific puzzle. His presence was tolerated, but his skepticism was a quiet offense. The village elder, Mzee Rafiki, warned him with eyes like cracked leather. The stones do not sing for your charts and numbers, city man. They sing because they remember. They sing because they are full. Do not try to make them empty. Anas, armed with logic and sonar equipment, just smiled politely. Emptiness was exactly what he sought. A cavity, a resonance chamber, a natural explanation. He began his work, mapping the 9 primary singing stones that formed a ring around Iri-ku. The first discovery was unsettling. His ground-penetrating radar showed that each stone was not a mere boulder. It was a pinnacle, the tip of a massive, pillar-like structure buried deep, deep beneath the salt crust. And at the base of each pillar, about 20 meters down, was a large, hollow chamber. The second discovery was worse. When he took a coarse sample from the smallest stone, nicknamed the Whisperer, the drill bit came back not with salt or rock, but with strands of a strange, fibrous material and a black, viscous fluid that smelled of ozone and myrrh. The stone's song sputtered and died for a full day, throwing the village into anxious silence. When the hum returned, it was slightly off-key, tinged with a note of distress. Mzee Rafiki was furious. You have given it a wound. You make it bleed the old silence. But Anas was now obsessed. The hollow chambers, the organic matter, his scientific mind leaped to a horrific, exhilarating conclusion. What if the stones were not stones at all? What if they were containment vessels? That night, during a moonless desert blackness, he took his most powerful seismic reader to the largest stone, the dirge. He placed the sensor against its warm surface and activated a deep-hole scan, hoping to map the chamber within. The stone did not just hum in response. It screamed. A psychic torrent of sound and image smashed into Anas's mind. He didn't hear it with his ears, he felt it in his teeth, his bones. He saw visions of a time when the expanse was a lush forest. He saw a great betrayal, 9 mighty forest spirits, tricked and bound by ancient village shamans. He saw their living essences being forcibly fused with the nascent salt pillars, their eternal rage and sorrow tuned into a single, relentless, guiding frequency. They were not singing. They were keening. Their eternal prison was the village's eternal compass. Anas fled back to Iri-ku, his science in ruins, his sanity hanging by a thread. He now heard the song for what it was, a symphony of agony, beautifully harmonized. Every safe return was a dance on the graves of gods. He went to Mzee Rafiki, babbling his discovery. The old man simply nodded, his anger gone, replaced by profound sorrow. Now you know, he said softly. The song is not a gift. It is a sentence. Our ancestors did a terrible thing to save the tribe from wandering to death. They made wardens of the wretched. We do not celebrate the stones, boy. We apologize to them. Every new moon, we pour libations into the earth, not to thank them, but to beg their continued, tortured patience. Anas understood the village's quiet gloom, their aversion to celebration. They lived under a blessing that was a genocide. We have to free them, he whispered. No. Rafiki grabbed his arm, strength belying his age. The binding is the only thing holding their rage. If the song stops, the guiding hum ends, but so does the prison door. What do you think 9 ancient, betrayed forest spirits will do to the descendants of their jailers? Their first breath of freedom will be our last scream. Anas was trapped between horror and a terrible responsibility. He spent days in a fugue, the beautiful horrible song now a constant drill in his soul. He noticed something else. The libations weren't enough. The stone he'd sampled, the Whisperer, was sick. Its song was growing thin, warbling. And as it faded, a new phenomenon occurred on that side of the village. Plants in the small garden plots withered in hours. The salt crust cracked, and from the crack seeped a dark, salty sludge that moved against the wind. 2 children who played too near the Whisperer fell into a coma-like sleep, whispering about roots in the dark. The prison was failing. The spirit within was dying, and its death throes were poisoning the land. A council was called. The young, pragmatic headwoman, Sanura, saw a practical solution. We need to reinforce the binding. The old rituals are too weak. We must give the stone more sustenance. She avoided the elder's eyes. Anas was appalled. What does that mean? Rafiki looked at the ground. The original binding required a life. A voluntary sacrifice to anchor each spirit to the stone. The songs are fueled by that sacrifice's eternal presence. Sanura proposed the unthinkable. To save the village, they must offer a new sacrifice to the ailing Whisperer. Not a volunteer from Iri-ku. A stranger. A lost traveler whom the stones would purposely lead astray, to the failing stone, where the village would intervene. Anas realized the true horror. The stones didn't just guide the lost home. Sometimes, they guided prey to the larder. Anas rebelled. He argued, he pleaded. He was called a coward, an outsider who didn't understand survival. That night, a sandstorm descended on Iri-ku, but it was like no other. It came only from the direction of the Whisperer. The sand bit like insects, and on the wind was a new sound, a rasping, guttural, hungry whisper that fought against the stone's dying hum. Panicked, a faction of villagers, led by Sanura, acted. They used drums and fires to mimic the stone's song, luring a lone, desert-weary nomad toward the Whisperer instead of the village. Anas saw it happening. He ran into the storm, toward the stone. He arrived as the nomad, confused, touched the Whisperer's warm surface. The stone pulsed with a sickly green light. The ground at its base softened into quicksand of salt and black sludge, pulling the man down. It was not swallowing him. It was absorbing him. Horrified, Anas did the only thing he could think of. He raised his seismic emitter, now set to its most destructive frequency, a sonic spike meant to shatter rock. He aimed it not at the stone, but at the ground between the nomad and the pillar, at the ancient, fibrous roots of the binding. I'm not releasing it, he screamed into the wind. I'm giving it a choice. He activated the emitter. A sound beyond hearing tore through the earth. The Whisperer stone shattered from the bottom up, not exploding, but dissolving into a cloud of salt and that black, oily fluid. And from the cloud, something rose. A form of swirling sand, petrified wood, and rage. The forest spirit, smaller than the others, half-formed, disoriented. It had been dying for centuries. It looked at the terrified nomad, at Anas, at the distant village lights. Then it did something no one expected. It let out a sigh that sounded like the end of a very long pain. And instead of attacking, it turned, and its form dissipated, not into vengeance, but into a single, pure, silent note that hung in the air before fading. The storm stopped. The Whisperer was gone. And on that side of Iri-ku, there was only silence. The nomad fled into the night, forever scarred. The village was saved, but their world was broken. One of the 9 was gone. The guiding song now had a hole in its harmony. Travelers would sometimes get lost on the western approach. Anas was exiled, not for his failure, but for his dangerous mercy. He had shown that a spirit could be freed without destroying them. And that knowledge was a threat to the entire, cursed foundation of Iri-ku. As he was forced to leave, Mzee Rafiki pressed a small, warm salt crystal into his hand. It held a faint, fading hum. "You gave it a kinder end than it ever knew," the old man said. "But you have only watered one tree in a petrified forest. The other 8 remain. And they have been listening. Their song has changed. Can you not hear it?" Anas stopped. He listened. The beautiful harmony was still there. But beneath it, woven into the melody, was a new, questioning note. A note of hope. And hope, for an eternally trapped being, is the most dangerous and volatile force of all. Anas sought knowledge and found a damnation dressed as salvation. The village had traded their moral compass for a geographical one. Now, the prison bars have been bent. One warden is gone. The others have tasted the silence after the song. So, what happens next? Does the weakened binding hold? Do the remaining spirits, now nursing a fragile hope, try to communicate with other lost souls? Or does their newfound yearning twist into something even more terrifying? This is only the first verse. What do you think? Was Anas a hero for offering mercy, or did he doom the village by awakening a hope that can never be fulfilled? Let me know in the comments below. If you are ready to hear how the song ends, make sure you are subscribed and the bell is turned on. Until then, listen closely to the guides in your life. Ask what fuels their light. Ask what silences they are built upon.